Hey everyone, Lauren Jones here. Let's talk about that parent-child exclusion then and now. Things changed in 2021 when we had our election in 2020. We definitely made some changes in California to the parent-child exclusion. Now, what is a parent-child exclusion and why do I even care? The parent-child exclusion is talking about property taxes when property transfers from a parent to a child or a child to a parent. You used to be able to exclude a change in property tax changes when you were passing property, which was great because you could pass property upon inheritance and still have the old property tax rate that your parents originally got when they bought the house. That's amazing. However, Prop 19 changed that. Sorry to say, there was kind of some changes that were buried into that proposition that did affect the parent-child exclusion. So now it's not quite the same. So what ends up happening now is that you can have that parent-child exclusion so long as your child or your parent, whoever it's being transferred to, remains in that property as their primary residence. That's a little tough sometimes because most of the time when children, let's say, because that's most of the time when this happens, when children get a property upon inheritance, they are likely using it as an investment property and no longer actually having it so that it is their own primary residence because they likely have their own. So that's a major change. There is also a change in the amount that the exemption is. So basically, when you bought the house, your house was a certain value to which you got your property taxes rated at. So if that amount would change between now and the time that your children take it, or what your original property taxes and then your children take it, goes up and over $1 million change, then the property taxes will change for the amount over the $1 million. So there's kind of a limit there as well. Definitely not fun. I mean, a lot of times properties are not, an average property is not $1 million, but housing prices are going up and up and up. So it's definitely something to think about. Investment properties no longer have that exclusion at all. So if you're transferring it, it's investment property, it's not your primary residence, and it's not going to your children as a primary residence, there is no exclusion and property taxes will change. And there's nothing we can do about that. And that actually took effect this year in February, about February 15th, that took effect. So the law is new, things are changing. There's definitely some questions about it for sure for everyone involved. What happens if two children take the property? Who has to live in it? How long do they have to live in it? So there's definitely things that will probably be changed in that law and proposition in the future, and I can't really answer any of that, but there's definitely some changes to how property transfers and what that means. So you want to think about that. And if you have questions about your property and what this means to you in transferring assets upon your kids, let's talk about it. I do want to let you know though, if your kids do choose to keep the property and actually have it as an investment property, they likely will pass on that change in property taxes to the tenant. So it may not make as big of a difference as it seems. I know taxes are really scary and no one wants to pay them and everyone's trying to avoid them, but maybe it doesn't work out so bad. And if your kids choose to sell it, they choose to sell it and then they don't have to worry about it. So there are ways that it may not be as bad as it seems, but there's definitely changes you should be aware of. So just things to keep in mind. If you have questions about it, feel free to give us a call. Happy to answer any of your questions. And I hope that I can actually hear from you soon. Thanks so much.